It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. Let's go. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want a ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
We are 60 minutes away from being in the Super Bowl. Think about that right now, folks. 60 minutes away from the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. This is an unbelievable season. This is an unbelievable year. This is fantastic in Detroit, and I am here with my guy Ant-Man to talk all about it.
Can you just say that first line again, Mike? Because I'm still
60 minutes away from a Super Bowl.
I keep having to tell myself that this isn't a dream, and I'm not going to wake up and it be the day of the Rams game again, and none of this happened. It's like I wasn't expecting this till next year, like at the earliest, and like say, here we are, NFC Championship week. We've come off two very good performances in the playoffs. You know, this team has shown so much to get here, considering it's the first time it's ever been here before. And now, as you say, we're the big bad underdogs again. Everybody's writing us off. People have already got their Ravens 49ers Super Bowl penciled in. It's like, well, we'll just hold on a second. This is where our team is at its most dangerous. And you know what? I think we can go there and beat them. The momentum feels like it's there now. Everything's with our team, and I have belief in them that they can go and do this.
We are the underdog, and everybody's counting us out, and I love it. I love this is where you want to be in this position, where nobody thinks you can win this bad boy. Nobody thinks that the Lions have a shot, and that's when they do it. They said the same thing about Kansas City week 1. Lions win that game. Last year, they finished the game in Green Bay. This year, at Green Bay. We have went on the road this season, and we've gotten it done. The Detroit Lions live up to the hype. They have done it, and I think they can go to San Francisco, and they can win that football game. The matchups are nice. What are the 49ers really good at, man, at? What is their whole offense predicated on? The run game. What is the Detroit Lions good at doing, Ant-Man?
Stopping the run game.
And that is huge. If the Lions can stop Christian McCaffrey or slow him down, that's really going to screw up their offense for the San Francisco 49ers. You're going to have Brock Purdy have to get it done through the air. And I'm not saying he can't get it done, but that's what you're going to have to rely on. And he has shown through the past that he'll make errors. He will, Ant-Man.
Absolutely. And, you know, you talk about matchups with these teams. Well, they are what we are. They are a power team with flair and really good playmakers. And, you know, when it comes to defending the run game, everyone will go, well, though, their O-line is a different beast. They're going to come up against this team who can run through anybody. Well, who do you think our D linemen have to come up against in practice every day of the week? They've got to come up against one of the best O-lines in there. They've got to defend against two of the best running backs in the NFL. And we've shown that we can keep these rushing attacks, whoever they are, down to a minimum. It doesn't matter who you are, how good you are at running the football. We can stop it. And yeah, we're going to give up a little bit through the air. But our D-lines come to life. Our star player on there he's in the form of his life right now, Aiden Hutchinson. They are creating pressures, sacks, putting teams back behind the sticks. So it doesn't matter too much that we're getting gashed through the air. We're able to sort of do that up. So I am right in on this going to San Francisco because, as again, they don't. I've seen a lot of their fans, and some of them have been really good, but a lot of them are just like, we're going to the Super Bowl. They are writing us off completely, and I don't agree with it for a second. You know, people say they're scared of this 49ers team. You know, they've been to 3 NFC championship games in the last 4 years. It's now going to be 4 out of 5 with this. But think about it. They've been to 3. How many Super Bowl wins do they have? Not one. They are the Dallas Cowboys plus, as I say. They are really good in the regular season. And when it comes to the playoffs, unlike Dallas, they can sort of beat that low-hanging fruit in the playoffs. But when it comes to these really big games in the Super Bowl, in the NFC Championship game, they come up short. They're like that rich guy who goes into the club, flashes his money, pulls a 10 out of 10 a world, he takes it home, promises the best night of a life. And when it comes to actually doing the work, his dingus lets him down and he doesn't deliver. That's what they are.
And they do got weapons there. We know they got weapons. We got weapons too. You know, I've heard about their weapons and I know they got weapons and that's what everybody talks about. But if you look at it, let's look at our quarterback, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy. I think Jared Goff get the better of them. Our offensive line, their offensive line. I'll take our offensive line. They got Christian McCaffrey. We got a Gibbs, right? Like they got a Deebo Samuel who's banged up, by the way. He's not, and if he plays, he's not 100%. He can end up falling on that shoulder one time, be done for the games. He's already dislocated it a couple times. So I already know what that's like. I've had shoulder surgery. We got an Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I'm saying? We went against offenses, I think, that are probably scarier than the 49ers offense, and we prevailed. That Vikings offense is scary. Okay, they got Justin Jefferson. They got some players too, and we still won the game. And I would fear more of that than, in all honesty. They got a hell of a defense. I think we can do a good job. I think we match up well, man. I think we do.
I do, and we've also got, and this is all the stuff saying it's not saying anything bad about the 49ers. They are a very good football team, and we are going to have to play the game of our lives to beat them. But as you've said, we match up. What they have, we have. They have a genius play caller. We have a genius play caller. Now, I know people have been frustrated with Ben a bit recently, but the offense and the defense, for that matter, have made good adjustments during the playoffs. We struggled a little bit against Tampa in the first half. They adjusted 3 straight touchdown drives. Tampa had no idea what they were doing. They found the way to break them down, and they dug the hammer in there, which is what the 49ers do with you. They find a way to get at you. Doesn't matter which playmaker they're going to use. Sometimes Deebo has a massive game. Sometimes McCaffrey has a big game. Sometimes Ayuk has a big game. They'll needle, find a way in and exploit it. We do that as well. It doesn't matter whether JMO has a big day, whether Jameer has a big day, like Monty has a big day, because I felt like I didn't see Monty much in the Tampa game, but in the LA game, he was vital to us. So someone will pick up the slack. One of our playmakers will come up and have the big day there, which is, and for us, it's also the mentality side of this. Like our team is playing without fear right now. They don't care it's the San Francisco 49ers. They don't care that it's on the road. They don't care that it's the NFC Championship game. All they care about is going on that field, putting in a huge performance and playing some of the best football they have in a long time. The 49ers, I come back to them. The 49ers get to this point of the season and they've historically shown that they can't handle the occasion. Everyone raves about Shanahan and his offense and how good he is. Well, when it matters, it just seems to falter. The points don't seem to be there. The offense doesn't do its job. The defense gets gassed. We've got a green light on how to beat this team from the Eagles last year, the Rams previous, from the Super Bowl. So, and like I say, our defense, the biggest part is the D-line is working well. You've got to win the trenches against the 49ers. The D-line is banging form right now. Aiden, best football of his life. Aleem, best football of his life. Kamish has come back to life in there. Everyone seems to have upped their game. Pascal has come to life. So if that D-line can stop McCaffrey, can get a few hits, sacks, tackles for loss, etc., put them behind the sticks, then they're going to struggle. So, again, absolutely zero fear. Respect for this team, but they're not David to our Goliath. I will say that much. That they're not that much bigger an opponent, and all the pressure's on them. Like if we lose, it's been a great season for Detroit, completely exceeded expectations. Ramp up for the big one next year. If the 49ers lose, it's kind of like the Buffalo Bills the other night. It's like, well, you've had a really good team and you've done nothing with them. You're kind of fraudulent and past your window. And I think that pressure's going to play on them because there's going to be a lot of Lions fans there. This isn't going to be like Ford Field, which is 99% packed out with home fans. There could be a lot of away fans traveling, and they're going to be noisy.
All the pressures on the 49ers, I 100% agree. All of it's on there. They, like you said, they've been to 3 straight NFC championship games. We have it. If the Lions lose, hey, the Lions had a great season. You said it 100%. 49ers lose, the world's caving in on those guys because they should have made a Super Bowl. But they did, there's a chance that they don't. It's just crazy. It's crazy seeing what's happening with the Detroit Lions right now. And look, again, I think that the 49ers should be favored, Vegas favored. They should be because it is a home. I think 7 points. And I think that this idea that we get blown out, Skip Bayless said we're going to get blown out. We have the right to get blown out. Skip,
shut up.
You're an idiot, man. Like, why? I don't understand some of these people, these analysts that just no matter what, it's the Lions. That's it. Like, there's no other reasoning for it because they're salty. At least Cowboys fans are salty. They're got their
all
karma.
salty. Like, the divisional fans are salty. The Rams fans are salty. And I said this the other day. The reason all these fans are getting salty at us is because for years, these trash organizations like the Vikings, the Cowboys, who have looked good but actually done nothing, they've always been able to pick on the Lions. Like, no one's as bad as the Lions. No one is just, we've not won the division in 30 years. We've not been to a playoff game in 30 years. We ain't won a playoff game in 30 years. No matter how bad it is for you, you can always pick on the Lions. Now we're in the NFC Championship game. We ain't that proverbial kicking point at the bottom of the pile now. And these teams, like the Cowboys, are going to start having to face dead on, straight in their face. They've not been to an NFC Championship game this century. Like, one of 2 teams in the NFC to not do so. Can't pick on the Lions no more. That makes them angry because the Lions are doing really well and they're not. And they get aggressive about it. It's the same with, like, the Bears. 1 playoff win in 18 years. Like, we've beaten that in a week. Considering how bad we've been and our future's already brighter than theirs, they now have to accept that their team is really bad and there's no one that they can go and kick about it because they're at the bottom. So I don't think this anger's against I think it's just other teams are like, they're not used to not having us there to abuse no more.
Yeah, we're automatic bye week. It's just it's like a default, error default. You're the Lions. That's it. I love that. I love it when people just look past us. I think it's great. Especially like you predict a win and then they're like, oh, your team's going to get blown out, blah, blah, blah. Like Buccaneers fans, they were saying that all week. And I'm like, good luck, man.
Well, all last week, wasn't it? It was about Baker Mayfield. Like, his research. The national media have not cared about Baker Mayfield at all this year. They've not said a word about him until it comes to the week where he plays the Lions. Then it's the redemption arc. He's
Stafford. It was about Stafford.
Exactly. And no one's talking about Goff. Not in a good way, anyhow, because it's like all the 49ers fans I've seen this week are like, oh, Jared Goff, we remember him, the quarterback we beat in LA all the time. He's terrible under pressure. He's going to give the game away. And you're like, do you not watch football anymore? The Jared Goff at the head of the Detroit Lions now is not the Jared Goff that came to Detroit 3 years ago. He is supremely confident. He's playing the best football of his career. He's playing turnover-free football now. Granted, maybe should have been a couple of turnovers, but he's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. He's one of the best quarterbacks under pressure. He is a lot more cool and collected now. He knows when to throw it away. He knows when to give up on a play. And most importantly, he's slinging the ball. He's dealing. He's finding J-Mo more. He's finding it all over the field. He's using everybody. This is not the same Jared Goff they're used to seeing. And if they come in with this mindset that it is, and if they come in with like the mindset their fans have, they're going to be in for a very rude awakening here. People are not watching this team. Every week they come out and prove you wrong. Every single week. And yeah, they might take the blows along the way, but they get back up next week. Not lost games in a row since game 7 last year. Not stack losses. Why? Because they learn and they come back. And people still refuse to acknowledge us for some reason. But I don't care. Let the 49ers, let them think that, because we play their game. They got Trent Williams. He can dig a hole in a team. Penei Sewell. He blocks 2 men at a time.
We got Penei Sewell. Yeah,
he blocks 2 men at a time. Taylor Decker, he's come into the form of his life, like out of nowhere. Frank Frank's playing through about 10 different injuries, and he still
Yes.
schooled Vita Vea. And Vita Vea, I love. As I think he's great. He's been one of the best DTs in this league for a long time. And Frank schooled him whilst having sprained ankles, knees, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, all this stuff. Like, we are a team who are going to absolutely fight you until you have no more energy left. And if you're not prepared for that kind of fight, you're going to lose. This is the team that Dan Campbell envisioned. Like, the Bucks went toe-to-toe with us, but they ran out of gas. Like, we just knocked the door down and we beat them. The same with the Rams. We just knocked the door down. We closed it in their view. They couldn't get back at us. That's what we do. We wear you down. We beat you. And we've got the resources to do that now.
James Janela says Goff is the one who has been to a Super Bowl. Let's not overlook that experience. Yes. What they say about the Stafford? Well, he's been to a Super Bowl. They have the experience. Jared Goff has the experience as well, folks. And Brock Purdy has not been to a Super Bowl.
So
Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. And this dude, I don't know what it is, but when the big moment is on, he does not get nervous. I've never seen anything like it. It's like it's week 1 of the preseason to Jared Goff. I've never seen anything like it. This guy has ice in his veins, and in the biggest moments, he comes in and he makes the play. Brock Purdy has not shown that he can do that as of yet.
And I think even like deep down subconsciously, even we think like when's, Jared's going to have a boneheaded moment at some stage. When is it coming?
Yep.
And it doesn't. Like there was the weird pass thing against LA,
In
which
the end
was
zone.
recovered, but and that one in the end probably should have been picked.
The Buccaneers won.
But those are literally like 2 moments, and that's it.
Why he'll have that, right? He'll have, but
exactly. And all QBs do. Like Baker had some boneheaded ones, but when it matters, like you said, he's gotten the drives. He's taken the lines on drives when he needs to. He's done what's required, and he's not looked flustered at all. And again, Purdy on the other side is not. And was it, if I remember rightly, it was the game against the Eagles last year. They hit him early, didn't they, and hurt his arm. So when he couldn't throw it properly, and that just took San Francisco completely out of rhythm because Purdy couldn't throw the ball and they had to run it pretty much. And then the Eagles were just able to assert their will on them. Well, a lot of people are saying in the comments here, go get him early, put him under some pressure, make him feel
early.
it. Like we have with Baker and Stafford took a pounding at Ford Field, an absolute pounding. Baker took a pounding. Like both of them injured their hands. And, they both had knocks and it both interrupted their timing. Like, that's what you got to do. Get after these guys and make them uncomfortable. And if you start putting this on Purdy's shoulders and having to make him make all these throws, like, he can do it. I'm not disrespecting him in any way, but that puts him under an immense amount of pressure. And all of a sudden, that wonderful offensive scheme they have, it just unravels. You saw it against the Eagles last year. And we have what the Eagles had, which is a dominant set of trenches to be able to do it. Long sustained drives for us to wear the defense down, take the playmakers out of it, keep Bosa quiet, and then on the flip side, go get their quarterback and keep their run game in check.
Hashtag lines from Riley. How much playing time do you think Zach Ertz gets? Not much if he sees it. He's going to be, maybe he'll get a couple snaps, he'll know a couple plays, but not much. If we need to block, we got Skipper that can come in there, or Jason Kabinda. But if he gets a couple passing plays, maybe. But I wouldn't expect a whole lot. He's going to be put in that Brock Wright kind of the amount of catches, and which is not much. But it's good. It's good to have this experience, veteran experience in there and depth.
He'll be a good option to use in the red zone.
Like, yeah. Or like a quick slant. Yeah.
Yeah. You bring him in those situations. I think he'd be very useful. So I think it'll be very situationally dependent on how much we see him. I think they'll spend this week getting a set of packages ready for him for specific situations.
Yeah.
And then they'll use him as and when required. I mean, unless Laporta goes out with an injury, I think you would see him at a minimum. You might see him take 10, 15 snaps, something like that. That's all I'd expect to see. And that's all we need.
Back too.
Khalif
could be back too.
And that's all we need from him. Just enough snaps to be able to cover, let Laporta have a breather in certain situations, bring him in, use him, and that's it. Like I say, when it comes to blocking, we got guys who can go in there and do that better. Well, better in our system.
Mm-hmm. James Houston could be back too. He was a scratch. That would be big on those 3rd and longs. You know, that's where we need him, as those 3rd and 13s, we could have used him on that 4th and 14. That's for sure. Like I am not worried about Lions if it's 3rd and 3. Like if they want to run it, okay, go ahead. But those 3rd and longer ones, it's always worries me the most. It's because it's not the 3rd and it's the 3rd and long. It's like, oh my God, like that 4th and 14. I'm like, come on, man.
That's where having Houston helps, because it gives the
Yeah.
quarterback less time in the pocket. Like when teams are doing that, they're really stacking their line to try and delay us just an extra. All they need is an extra half second, and then you can throw it. With Houston there, if he breaks through, Purdy ain't going to have time to wait for the routes to develop to be able to do that. So again, yeah, I just think if we have him here, it just makes it means we've got all our weapons available to us. If we have a fully fit team, we match up against them. This team don't know what their ceiling is yet. Like that's the most dangerous thing for the 49ers. We don't know how good our team truly is. Like, can they go and win a Super Bowl this year? You're right. You're damn right they could. Like, they could just keep getting better and better and better. And the coordinators both have figured their game out right now. Like, the defense has come into its own recently. It has been so much better, despite the corners and giving up big plays and stuff. In every other asset, it looks better. And it's just come at the right time. The offense is getting it together, and it's at least it does go quiet for a bit, but it stacks points in other parts, so it gives you a chance. You know, you're never out of it with this offense. We can play from behind. We can do whatever we need to.
And I really want to go to this Lions to win the Super Bowl, because I just found out that I'll be going to the Super Bowl for the week if the Lions make it. Chat Sports sending me. If the Detroit Lions make the Super Bowl, I will be at Vegas for the week. So interviewing players and all that lovely stuff. So I really want to do this. Like, this would be amazing. I want to go to Vegas really, really bad next week. I'd love to leave on Monday to Vegas. So just FYI, we got to do it for that thing. If Debo plays, I'd rather put Branch on him than Sutton. Sutton has been hurt. He plays big. You know what? I think if I wonder how they would do it if Debo plays, John. I think they probably would I think Brian Branch and Debo would be the matchup. I think it would be too. Those seems like the good matchup right there. Maybe Ayuk and Cam Sutton. But I would like that matchup right there. Brian Branch is the more physical guy. I think he's faster. I think him and Debo would be a good match.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
Like, Branch is playing some really good football at this moment in time. And again, a bit more athletic. Sutton just looks bang out of form. Like, he looks like a man who's got no confidence at this moment in time. Some of the plays he gave up the other day were just criminal for our senior cornerback. And, like, it's always him. Even Vildor's playing better at the moment. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really notice Vildor the other day, which is testament to him. Like, if I'm not noticing you in our secondary, then you're actually doing something right. Because usually when we notice you, there's something wrong. But, you know, man, I love the safety room. Like, we were bringing the safety blitzers against Baker. I mean, how many times did we get home with the safeties against them? Like, that's another wrinkle you've got to add in there. I love the new aggressive form of defensive play, because it means that San Francisco can't put as many... Yeah, they can't put as much resource towards their offense. You've got to put extra blockers in. You can't have Debo and Ayuk and Kittle and all these guys out at the same time. You've got to watch these blitzers. If he got, 1.5 sacks, CJ, he got pick on the day, Kirby got sacked. We just kept getting so many sacks from all these blitzers. And again, do that again. Like, put them on the defensive. Don't let them play free-flowing, attacking football, because if you do, you're in a lot of bother. Like, if they get all the motion stuff going, if they get CMC going, if they get Debo and Ayuk going early, I mean, you're going to be in a gunfight, and you're going to need to put up 40, 45 points. And we don't want that.
Man, we're so used to that, though. This is what people don't really understand is we're used to offenses putting up points, and we got to match it. This is nothing new to us. So it's like if we're offense, we'll put up points. Tell us something that we don't know. Like we know this. Like, this is nothing new. We went through a gauntlet of high quality offenses, and we did pretty good. So it's one of those things where it's like, and like it's more. I think more the defense is something that I would be worried more about San Francisco. I know they got offensive weapons. I know they're going to put up points. Everybody does.
See, I think
it's like it is. It's like can we counter? Can we get the points? And I think that we can. I think our offense is amazing.
I do. Well, I think when it comes back to offense, I think the only thing that differs with these is these are like top class at using motion and stuff like that. We struggle with the Ravens, who have so many guys who you can put in motion, you can move them around, get your defense off its feet. Like, this is the thing that's worrying here. It's not necessarily being able to stop the run, do those bits of it. It's, can you deal with the motion? Can you adjust to it? Because our defense, one of its biggest problems is its communication, like being able to communicate properly on plays, to pick guys up. There's a lot of blown coverages, etc. They can take a big advantage on that. But if we can keep them quiet, if we can stop that from happening, if we can sort of learn our lessons from the Ravens game, which hopefully we have, then again, we make it eminently beatable. And I do trust our offense to go there and score 40, 45 points if it needs to. But our road to victory is a lot easier if you can keep that motion in check. And then, like, that takes their biggest weapons away. That's how they do it. That's how they operate. They just spread you thin and hit you. Stop that, you've got a big chance of beating them.
Mike McCall dropping a $20 super. Mike McCall is awesome. We appreciate you, Mike McCall. He says, F the 49ers. I'm 65 years old and love the Lions since I got out of diapers. My first game my dad took me to was Chuck Hughes pass. Never been this excited. Why are we not playing our 5 best defensive backs together? They are playing. They are. Yeah. The problem is we don't have the best corners in the world, but they are playing. You're seeing Iffy, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, and Afutu Melifonwu. They're all out there at one time. So that's what I love seeing, is how they're getting their best guys out there. Somebody asked would you put Kirby at corner? No, I'm not going to put Kirby at corner.
They're playing 4 safety looks, aren't they? Like, that's rare to play 4 safety looks, but what they're doing is they're sitting too deep and blitzing the others. They're like taking advantage of the better players. Again, I love that concept.
Yes, so do I. So do I.
Because you don't know who's coming, and they're good in coverage. So, the safeties will drop and help the corners, or they'll come blitzing at you. And because there's 4 of them on, you've no idea. All of them can do it. Sorry. All of them can do it. Maybe outside of CJ, not so much a blitzer, but Kirby, Iffy, all these guys can come and blitz, or they can drop into coverage and help. And it's a nightmare trying to work out what they're doing. And the Bucs couldn't pick up on that, which gave us a huge advantage. It swung it for us. So I think they are doing that. They're putting more safeties out there than corners. They're recognizing this. They're just going on the offense. They know what our weakness is. So they're like, screw it. We're not going to sit here and get picked off. We're going to go and be aggressive, and we're going to go and make plays, and we're going to make life easier for ourselves. And I 100% wholeheartedly agree with that approach.
Would be awesome to see the Lions and you at the Super Bowl. Hopefully Herm can get you in the draft. I'll be in the draft, and if the Lions make the Super Bowl, Chat Sports sent me to Vegas. So and I'll be able to interview players and stuff like that. So we'll see, man. I hope so. It'd be great. But again, like I see 49ers fan here, respect to the team. We're not saying like your team sucks. Not at all. Your team's awesome. It's a great team, and Debo is a tank. He's 100% a tank. It's just matchups is what I look at. And people keep saying, well, you let people run on you. Our run defense is really good. The reason that it is not better than what it is at number 2 is because of mobile quarterbacks. That's it. That's really it. Like, you can't run on it. It's so difficult to have your running back run on us. So it's going to be a great matchup. Our run defense versus Christian McCaffrey / if Debo's. I think he plays in a limited role. Look, I don't think he's going to.
There's no way he's not playing. Like, after all,
he's going to play in a limited role. He'll play, but if I would be nervous if he gets injured, because he's had a separated shoulder now twice, and I've had 3 times I separated my shoulder, 2 surgeries from it. Once you get it separated, it's really easy to pop out again, and that's why I think they stopped him last week.
After all the jip that CD's given him on Instagram, and that, there's no way he's sitting out. Like, if anything, Gardner-Johnson is going to provoke him into playing, because otherwise he's just going to spend all week hearing about, like, you're sat on the bench while I'm playing. Football players are very proud people, and he's not going to sit and take that lightly. I love CJ winding him up, but there's no way he's not playing.
Casey Sessionalized Nation, Mike. If you go to Vegas, don't ask players you interview. The weather will affect the game, or Taylor Swift. Those are the last 2 things I'd ask. There's the last things I ask. St. Brown is better than Debo, just in my opinion. You know what's interesting is before we drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown, there was rumor out that the Lions want to trade for Deebo Samuel. And these two players are somewhat similar. They're both dogs. They're physical wide receivers. You can play them in multiple areas, and they always go forward. They're super. They got beast of a lower body and upper body. So it's going to be really, really fun. Really, really fun.
I love them both. I think they're both terrific players. I would say they're different. Debo's bigger and bulkier. Like,
Yeah, he's
you can
bigger.
use him
bulkier,
more.
yeah.
I would say they're a lot different because they use him a lot more in motion than we use Amon-Ra. Like, their roles are a lot different compared to what they're, and he's a lot
more running back. Too,
yeah, they use him more in the running back. We use Amon-Ra a bit, but we've not really seen it so much this year. We used to, but this year he's just
wide
balling
receiver
out in the slot.
screens.
Yeah, he's balling out in the slot. He's doing well. I think they're two different kind of players, but I think they're two amazing players. You know,
if we lose AG, we get a compensatory pick. Yes, we do. We get two compensatory third-round picks if Aaron Glenn gets hired by a team as their head coach. With AG blitzing so much, stopping CMC on screens is going to be a must. Tampa got us a couple times last. Yeah, they did. They got us a couple times. But the difference is I think the wide receivers are better from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the wide receiver room, compared to their wide receiver room. But I think that their better run game. So it's more of like, okay, where are you going to put that extra guy? I think we put him on the defensive line this week. I think you'll see a lot of 5-6 men on the defensive line for the Lions.
And it was bad tackling as well. Like there was some. If you can get better with your tackling, I don't think it's necessarily they beat us with it. It's just we beat ourselves with poor execution on it. So
both the dual threat, they're both great wide receivers. Utility knife, Debo, whatever you want to call. There's no negative about
every team in the league would want them. Like every other team in the league would want them, hands down. It's just how good they are.
Send in Iffy on a safety blitz. That's what they got to keep. If Futu Melifonwu, and this is another 49ers fan, we got a lot of names you may not heard of, but Iffy is playing at an all-pro level at safety right now. Like, this is what has happened to this guy in the last 5-6 weeks is unbelievable. He may be the best defensive player on the team right next to Aiden Hutchinson. This guy he's a big safety, and he's really fast, and he's physical, and he hits home. When he goes in for the blitz, he hits home nearly every time. The guy is a baller, and he's getting the football turned over. If he is playing out of his mind, if 49er fans, if you're like, who's this Iffy guy? You're about to find out on Sunday. He's really, really good for the Detroit Lions defense.
Yeah, and, look at what the Packers did. The Packers just put a ton of pressure on there. I think they had 23 pressures on the day, and they came from everywhere. Like, they were going all out to rattle San Francisco's offense, and it took some big plays for them to get. I mean, they were losing most of that game. Don't forget as well. It's really only because Love made the boneheaded throw, which got picked. It was a bad throw. Turns the ball over. You can't turn the ball over against the 49ers. I think you play clean football like we've done, then you're going to win, because we could easily have lost the Rams and Bucks games if we turn the ball over. Like, in those critical situations, one turnover is enough to swing the game against you, and we've played clean football. The Packers didn't, and ultimately that's what cost them in this. Jordan Love doesn't throw that first pick. Packers probably win that football game. Special teams, they get the field goal. 49ers are not going to the game this week, but their defense set the tone by being really aggressive. I want to see pressures coming from all over, be it Aiden, be it Iffy, be it Aleem through the middle. They have shown us how to deal with that offense. I know we should be taking lessons off Joe Barry very often, but he got onto something with it.
Lions, who would you put on George Kittle? I man coverage. I like Iffy. I like if he's not blitzing. If I just think they're both physical, they're both big. That would be the matchup I like. That's what I would do. Maybe you get some Brian Branch in there as well, but those are the guys and that's the size of Futu Melifonwu and his speed. He can keep up with these guys. He's physical. He can tackle. And when you're going against physical studs like a George Kittle, you need to have another physical guy to match with. And I like that. I like that for sure. Man, it's when you look at these teams, they're similar too, right? They are similar.
That's the thing, yeah.
Like they both got really good offensive lines. They both got really good tight ends. They both got wide receivers. That's not generally all wide receivers. Like you got Jahmyr Gibbs that can do both. You got Deebo Samuel that can do both. You got a St. Brown that can do it. You got the speed guy, Ayuk, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond. Like they're very similar all around.
Exactly. And they've got the play callers which utilize them the best. Like that's it. You got two of the best offensive play callers going at the moment who are going to come up against one another. So I think it's going to be a case of whose defense is better at adjusting on the day, keeping the points tally down. That's going to be the thing. But, I've seen, this 49ers guys in here going, they're a better team across the board. That's a lie. You are not a better team across the board than us at all. Your offensive line, 1 through 5, is not better than ours. It might be on par. It's not better. We got a deeper running back room. We've got a better quarterback. Wide receivers, we've got playmakers who are just as good. We've got maybe the best wide receiver in game with Herman Moore if you're going to go on pure there. On defense, we've got good guys as well. Don't underestimate this team. And again, it's playing without pressure, no expectation. It's just going to go out there and it's going to make you work your ass off for 60 minutes. If they want to win this game, they're going to have to fight for their lives to go out and win this. They're not better across the board.
And you don't know when we're going to do some crazy play. You have no idea. We're going to go for it.
That's it. Our special teams is elite.
They go all out, man. Like there's no, you can't if you think we're going to be conservative, we have you don't know what's going to happen. We expect to run it, we pass. We expect to punt it, we go for it. We expect to go for a field goal, they go for it. We expect to go for it, they go. They're so unbelievably out of the blue. It's not conventional with this team.
No. And people forget about our special teams. Our special teams is big. Think what Fox did against the Rams. Kept putting them back in their own 5 and their own 10. You did it against Tampa. We can change the field even if we do punt. We're ballsy enough to go for big plays when we need to. Even early in our own half, 30-yard line, whatever. We'll pull it out on you. We'll pull all these tricks there. I mean, kicking, we seem to have been better at recently. Touch wood. But, our special teams are elite and they can help change us games. They help win us that Rams game. So even if the offense doesn't do too well, we can pin them back. If we need to take 3, we can. If we need a trick play, we'll come up with it. Fipp will come up with something. I think that, I don't know. I don't really know what the Rams special teams is like. It's weird. I don't know. But I think for us, it's really good. So it might be a battle that can help us win this.
No offense, but the Lions are fraudulent all year. Packers dominated you. How many wins
did
you guys have in the regular season? 12. How many do we have? You guys lost to the Minnesota Vikings. We beat the Minnesota Vikings twice. Their house there, but we beat the Vikings. You lost the Minnesota. We're not fraudulent. Everyone just thinks we are because it's the Lions. You're going to see it's a physical team. We don't make a lot of mistakes. They're not a fraudulent team. Everybody has been saying this, and then they lose every time. I'm not saying we're going to win this game.
And this is the NFL.
I think we do, but we're not frauds. It's a good team. And about to find, we're earning our respect. I don't care what the media says. All the media is always against the Lions. So you're going to see, they're frauds because all these people say it. Okay.
And
you'll find out on Sunday that it's not a fraudulent team.
And you know what? This is the NFL. Everybody can beat everybody. And the Packers, to their credit, came up with a game plan to stop us. I mean, they did really well. They took the ball to start the game. They took 8 minutes off the clock, got a touchdown, gassed our defense out, got some good pressure on us. They came up with a good game plan to stop us. That happens in the NFL. Every team, every now and then, will get outdone by a good game plan. What did we say at the start of the show, though, Mike? Since 1-6 last year, since week 7 last year, we've not lost back-to-back games. Why? Because we take our lumps, we go back into the training rooms, we learn, we adapt, and we come out and we get better. This is what our team does. Yeah, we've taken some hammerings. We've taken some bad hammerings, but we've come back every single time. And people said after that Packers game, oh, yeah, they're frauds. Well, we came back on Monday next week.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
It-
we made the
The
playoffs.
Ravens beat you guys pretty well, and you don't see us
Yeah.
calling them frauds. And
No,
you guys got
every
spanked, and
no,
it was just one of those games. Not every team has the best day on that specific day.
no. And we're here. We've earned our right to be here. Like, we beat a
Ravens
Rams
dominated
team.
you recently.
Yeah, exactly. And we beat a Rams team who often goes, oh, it's a terrible matchup
Did
for
the
you.
Rams
Puka
beat
and
you
Cup.
guys? We beat the Rams.
Yeah, Puka and Cup are going to dominate you. Well, they didn't, did they? I mean, they got good stats, but they didn't beat us. Oh, Tampa, they're tougher than you. They're going to come in and upset you. Well, they didn't, did they? It's people forget this is the first. We're not even really meant to be competing this year. This is year 3 of a full and utter teardown and rebuild. And we said get into the playoffs is where it's at. Like, win the NFC North, get to the playoffs, see what happens. We're not built, we're not supposed to be going for the Super Bowl this year. This team is so young and inexperienced right now, and it is in uncharted waters every single week. It's going somewhere it's never been before. And it's gotten to the NFC Championship game in its first year of even semi trying to compete. Like, this is not a fraudulent team. It's a team which over 3 years has shown consistent growth, consistent player development, consistent coaching development, and just gets better and better and better. And it's fueled by a young core which just doesn't know when it's beaten and is just going to go out there and kick your ass. There's nothing, absolutely nothing fraudulent about this team. If you're going to knock the word fraud around, how about you throw it at the team that's been to the NFC Championship game in 3 of the last 4 years and hasn't won a Super Bowl because it can't get it up when it matters? That is where the term fraud should be shouted at. This is our first year here. Like, we got no to prove.
Yeah, like I've seen this stuff all year. See you Sunday. Yeah, that's just the way. I'm not gonna go back and forth. This is the way, I see it. If you're overconfident, you're worried about something. Like, in my opinion, if this team overlooks us, I love it. Like, I hope everybody overlooks us. I hope you do as well. I hope everybody does. So when you're shocked that the Lions are in the game, and we're talking about it's almost over, it's going to be a big shocker. The Rams fans, they thought they were winning this game. Like, all the Rams fans, they said the same stuff. Automatic. Stafford's going to come here. And then they left with their head down. Salty. I'm not saying the Lions going to win this game. We lose. Hey, I'm happy in the season. It was a hell of a season. It is what it is. But we're not a walkover. And I
That's it.
I think people keep disrespecting the Lions, and I hope everybody does this. Keep saying that where it's a walkover.
Yeah,
You're not going to expect it.
And that's the main thing. Going back to the core concept, no one is saying that we can just go outright and win this thing. Like, no one's disrespecting the 49ers. It's challenging the narrative that this is a walkover for them, which everybody seems to think it is, because that's just simply not true. Our team has earned the right to be here, has played really good football, has shown great development, and it's at its best when its back is against the wall. And there is absolutely no reason we can't go out and win this game, because we do what they do. We can give them a taste of their own medicine. If we play our best football, we can win this game. So it is just challenging that narrative, not trying to rain the parade on the 49ers. We got to play the game of our lives to win this if we want to beat them. But we
Lions.
can.
Who has the better game, Josh Reynolds or Juwan Jennings? I'll go with Reynolds here. Reynolds has been pivotal in the playoffs. I don't know. He has turned it on a notch. Josh Reynolds he's been great for the Lions since he's been here. I'll go with Josh Reynolds because he come out, man. He could play he plays like he's a number one sometimes out there, and it's crazy to see the unsung hero. He's an unsung hero.
It is. He's been great. And again, this is another one who it's kind of a revenge game. These old Rams players, they'll remember the 49ers very well, and there'll be scores to settle there, and he'll have the same. But at the same time, we can't disrespect the 49ers wide receivers, because everyone talks about Ayuk and Samuel, but Juwan Jennings, these guys, they stepped up against the Packers when they needed to. Their backups made some very big plays, and they will continue to do so. So we've got to respect them just as much Because if we kind of forget about their depth receivers, these guys, even if they only make 1 or 2 plays, they might be vital enough to win you a game.
That's all you need is
So,
1 to 2
exactly.
plays, man. And that's how it changes games. It's very, very, very close. I think it's going to be one of those 1 to 2 games. In the 49ers losses, top was the key. Keep the ball against them, and you force them into bad decisions with their overrated young quarterback. Lions have over 2,000 yards rushing this year. Lions are going to run the football, and the 49ers are going to have to stop the run. They couldn't stop the Green Bay Packers, and we are one of the best running football teams in football. We are a top 5 run team. This team loves to run the football. Physically, we can do it with Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs going between the tackles too and the outside. And they got Craig Reynolds. I mean, our running game is unbelievable. And that's why this offense is working so well, is because we can run the football.
And as much as time of possession is going to be big, it's also turnovers, because 49ers had no turnovers like the other day. Packers, I know they had 2. One was a garbage time throw. But again, that 1 interception Jordan Love throws, he doesn't throw that pick. The 49ers are not at the dance this week. We're playing the Packers at Ford Field. That's the fine margins it comes down to. They did everything right, apart from a missed field goal and an interception thrown. So it comes down to those fine little margins, taking care of the ball, which we have done. We've not, we haven't been turning it over in the playoffs. Special teams, we've not made any special teams mistakes in the playoffs so far. We continue playing that brand of football that gives us a big chance in this game to be able to go out and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And look, it's gonna be a really fun game. It's gonna be really good. And the Lions, I think, are 7-9 on the road this year. 7 wins, 7-2. 7 wins, 2 losses on the road. They are. I said it too. Like when we went to New Orleans, I said I'm happy we're going. Like I like to be on the road. Like they play better sometimes on the road. They just, for whatever reason, it doesn't bug them. Jared Goff doesn't get bugged on the road. I like how they run more on the road. I do like that. So it's a road game. Lions are 7-2 this year in the road.
And there'll be plenty of fans that follow them. Like a lot of these, like when we went to Tampa first time, that wasn't an away game. It was basically a home game. And even if they're not in the stadium, there will be a presence there for them. And we've seen a lot of teams struggle with the home pressure. Look at the Cowboys. Their fans turned on them so quickly, and it showed. For us, we're there to go and spoil the party. And, we did look a little nervous at home, especially against the Rams. Like, we looked a little nervous. They silenced the crowd a bit, and it can play on you. Now, you don't have any of that. You just go out there. We're playing under no pressure whatsoever now. Like, the last 2 weeks have really sort of eaten at me, like been really nervous. And don't get me wrong, I still want to win this one, but we're not favored in this. We've been favored in the previous 2. We are a touchdown, underdog on the road coming up against a really good team. But I know that's when my team's at its best, and I believe in them to go and do it. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think it's going to be a great game. And it's been a fantastic season. Regardless of what happens in this, it's been an absolutely fantastic year. But like we were discussing before we came on, I've just got this feeling, Mike, it's not over just yet.
So we're 6-3 in the road, not 7-2. 6-3 in the road, good road team. It should be 7-2. We should have won that Dallas game. Hashtag Lions. If you're Glenn, I think you go try to mix it up with the blitz, blending quarters. They have been doing that the last 6-7 weeks. It's just mixed, like it's showing blitz, they back off, they blitz. There's a lot of trickery going on, and I like what they're doing there. Yes, Elijah Mitchell, he's got 281 yards rushing this year. That's their backup there, 2 touchdowns, average of 3.7. Our backup has got almost 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, we've got the depth in the room. Like, we've got 2 bona fide playmakers there, and they'll put CMC out there just like every snap that they can. Us, if Monty wasn't working like he wasn't against Tampa, put Jahmyr out there, and Jahmyr will make a hole. That's why, again, having all these versatile playmakers we have behind this line we have just makes us so dangerous, because if one doesn't work, the other doesn't work. You stop CMC, their system stops entirely. You stop Jahmyr for us, we'll put Monty in. You'll bulldoze over them instead of using the finesse stuff. We've got the depth here, especially on offense. We got the depth to be creative with what we do, which is why we score so many points, which is why we look really good, and which is why we always find a way to be able to win.
Yeah, we're running quite a bit. You overdraft a running back, nobody's. You're about to find out. Jameer Gibbs is the most biggest playmaker
Hang on,
on the team,
this is the franchise that traded 3 first-round picks for a quarterback who's no longer on the team, and they talk about us overdrafting. That's just kettle and teapot there. Don't talk to us about our draft rookies are all hitting. Like Laporta, great. Campbell, great. Like we have hit on so many of our draft picks.
Gibbs is like Chris Johnson, and you're about to find out that this is exactly who he is. He is a dog.
I love it. Keep bringing it. Keep up with these false narratives. All those positional value nerds who mocked it last year are stone cold silent. Like they're under their rocks. They've got nowhere to go right now. And that running back we overdrafted, he won us the game the other day. Like he won us a divisional game. Exactly. Like he has been worth every single bit of that pick we gave for him. Like, and we traded down to get to that. So it wasn't even like we gave the original one. We got more picks as well as him. So like we got Laporta with that pick as well. So, we draft two studs for the price of one. Yeah, running back, tight end, 2 of our best players this year. We didn't overdraft nobody. Like the team that drafted Trey Lance are not in a position to talk to anybody about overdrafting players.
Yeah, man. This overdraft idea is done or is gone after this year. Yeah, there ain't nobody talking about that. Only people that don't really pay attention to the draft can say this. You want to be Todd McShay? Go ahead. We had a great draft. We had Jameer Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, and Brian Branch.
It does just show a testament though to what a great job Brad's done. It's like these guys are not phased. Like Jameer didn't go into his shell and he embraced this. He came out and he stiff-armed Antoine Winfield Jr., who's one of the better safeties in the league. Like he's a really good player. And he just took the game by the scruff of its neck and goes, I'm going to go out and win this for my team. Laporta is playing through injury. Like, he banged his knee up pretty bad. He is playing through injury, making plays for us. Campbell has come on slowly but surely. And even going back to Holmes' first draft, we're seeing the best iteration of Derek Barnes now. These are just young guys who are not shying away from the spotlight, which is, I think, what everyone expects them to do. Oh, they've not been in the playoffs so long. They're going to get stage fright eventually. And they're not. If anything, they're stepping up to task. And every time something more's asking of them, they keep answering the call. So, we've not done... Our team is based on this draft. Our core is built through the draft. So I don't know how anyone can say we've overdrafted anything. We haven't. We've made the core of a sustainable team, which is going to be competitive for the next half a decade. Not many teams do that.
Run DMG is correct. We would not be here without having Jameer Gibbs. Sorry, we're not in the NFC Championship without this explosive plays that he does in every single game. There's always a big one. The guy is amazing, almost 1,000 yards rushing, and he splits the time with David Montgomery's got 1,000 yards rushing.
Exactly.
And that's just Jameer Gibbs. That's just him as a running back. He's a receiver as well. He catches everything.
He makes plays. He makes plays. And again, it's indicative of the team spirit here. Like, they're not phased. Like, they are talented players. They are been coached really well. They've had grit installed into them. So even when they take knockbacks, even in games, they shake it off. They come out and they just improve. Like, I can't say enough good stuff about this. We are witnessing something special here. Whether it doesn't end in a Super Bowl this year, like we have never drafted and developed like this before, never on a scale like this. And
development of everyone.
It is nuts. Like 3 years ago, we were a mess. Our cap was screwed. We had one of the worst rosters in the league. We had no future whatsoever. And then, like 3 years later, 3 years to the day was it the other day, we hired Dan and we were a game away from the Super Bowl. That's how good a job they have done. And none of these narratives about us doing this wrong or doing that wrong hold true anymore because the results on the field show otherwise.
Gibbs just explosive kiss from McCaffrey, and you'll see in Raw podcast, he's not a homer. This dude is not a homer. Okay, but he's 100% correct here. You're about to find out. You're about to he's not some scrub. He is. Anytime this guy's got the football in his hands, he could take it to the house. Anytime. This guy is crazy good. I think he's better than Alvin Kamara. I think we're talking about a special player.
And it's not just him. It's not just him. Look at Amon-Ra. Like, he is one of the most special players going. When we were back in that 3rd and 15, and he carried 2 players over the line to gain after coming back for the ball, picked 2 players up, carried them over. And that was a massive play for us in that game. Like, the one that sealed us the game. Like, he is special. And he is one of the best receivers in the league. And he's going to get paid like one of the best receivers in the league. And, you know, he knows nothing else other than proving people wrong and just being special. Like, he had that one drop, didn't he? And it's like, you're going to see him go Super Saiyan now.
Now he's going to go Super Saiyan.
He did. He had one bad play, and I didn't even have to think about it. I thought he's going to catch everything for the rest of the game now. He's going to go to that sideline. He's going to be absolutely not with himself, and he's going to come back on, and he's going to make a big bunch of plays, and he did. It's what this team does. Like, mentality matters here. It really does. We are a young team which does not know when to say no.
Time, man.
And again,
5th youngest team in the NFL.
And the 49ers, they're experienced, right? But they've had a problem getting out of this situation. When it really matters, they've not delivered. And it's going to play on them. This is going to be their 3rd year in a row there, and they've not been to a Super Bowl yet. Our team don't know that disappointment. Like, they just come out, and they'll play their best ball, and they'll win. So, yeah, pressure's on them for this. We got no.
Jahmyr Gibbs is a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. Like, right now, Pro Bowler. Sam Laporta is an All-Pro.
Oh, God, yeah.
Brian Branch is a Pro Bowler. Okay, and Jack Campbell, he's coming into his own as a really good player. They just got pretty good linebackers. Like, it's a hell of a draft class, man. Like, this is I don't think it could possibly get better than that unless you got Puka Nacua somehow in like the 5th round. But other than that, like, they just destroyed this draft.
Exactly, and
it's unbelievable, and that's the testament of having the ability to draft players and find talent.
Exactly. Teams doing it the right way, and they've built themselves up for big success. But shout out to the Bucs fan just here. Like, your team did yourself so proud. Stick with Baker. Like, Baker is undergoing a career arc like Goff. If you show 100% faith and loyalty in him, he will return that.
Build around him.
They're in a very good place. The Bucs are. Like, give them a year
more
or two.
Offensive weapons over there.
Exactly.
Yeah, they could be.
Give them a year or two. They're going to be a menace. So
give them a
really
great running back. Go in there and get yourself a really Blake Corum or something like that, and then you're scary.
Yeah,
I like Blake
and they've got
Corum.
to fix that line as well. They just can't run the ball. You've got to get some better linemen who are better in the run game, but they're not that far off, and they did themselves proud.
Hey, appreciate you're not worried, man. Appreciate it. I love it.
You'll be worried after Sunday when you choke again.
We handled your big brothers.
Okay, I love the back and forth before things like that. I'm not going to be. Life's too short to be passive.
I think it's funny, man. It's because I'm not the biggest trash talker in the world because I just let the play it on Sunday. But I like it when people just think that we're just the same old Lions. And
life's too short to go out there.
It's been a great season. Every week we get this same old Lions, and then they're like, oh.
Feel like a bit like Scrappy Doo, just going to go out there and just be like, let me at them, let me at. Doesn't matter how big they are, you're going to get the best of me trash talk. So that's
shout out to Bucs fans. A lot of them were actually really cool. I had a couple that was but they're really cool out there. They're humble. So maybe San Francisco's a little less humble, their fan base. I don't know. But hey, man, I love it. I hope all week it's not a single person picks the Lions.
Yeah, just write us off and
do the same thing that ESPN did with the Rams. It was all Rams. And
you know what? Dan's not allowed back on the train now. Like, Dan's just been, he didn't even have Goff in his top 4 quarterbacks left in the playoffs last weekend, and you're like, come on, like, really? Really, Dan? You just been a homer at this, a non-homer at this point now. He's not allowed back in.
All right, folks, we've been on for about an hour. We'll be getting to the game on Sunday. With that said, folks, adios.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters. They're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.